Detroit Lions fans, Detroit Den 313 back with another one coming off our huge members giveaway. If you didn't see the members giveaway video, it's probably because you're not a member, but you should have been, because we gave away, if you didn't see it, a Panay Sewell Salute to Service helmet got given away, a Kirby Joseph signed football got given away, an Aiden Hutchinson helmet got given away, Brian Branch jersey, Jameer Gibbs jersey. Did I miss anything, Steve? Did I miss anything?
A couple jerseys. It was over $1,000 worth of stuff we gave. All right, and I'll say that I'll save it for the end. But yeah, if you want something, reach out. I need these people to reach out to me for your giveaway. Horgarth, one of our members, and Therese Ruckel for your helmet, and Horgarth for your Gibbs jersey. Reach out to one of us for those two. Reach out to me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Swing by the house if you know where I live, and we'll get you your items. But back to business today. Back to the usual scheduled program. Talking some more Detroit Lions football. A couple days off, getting stuff ready for the members giveaway. So we had to, put that on the front burner. But now we're getting back to the regular routine here. Will, what are we talking today?
Hey, listen, today, before we get started, last order of business. Greg Kellogg, Kirby Joseph football. I need your information too. But order of business today. So we're going to be talking about Mr. DJ Reader. We alluded to it yesterday. Detroit Lions wire. Billy. I don't want to butcher his last name. We'll just say Detroit Lions wire. Billy R. He wrote an article about DJ Reader being a potential cut candidate, and we're going to talk about that today. Do you believe that DJ Reader could be a potential cut candidate? Steve, how you feeling?
Could he be? I mean, I guess technically he could, but he won't. The Detroit Lions already paid this man $4 million for his roster bonus a couple weeks ago. All right. If we were thinking about cutting him, I think Brad Holmes would have done that already. All right. This is a guy, Brad Holmes, that all offseason has talked about financial responsibility. He's not going to pay a guy $4 million just to turn around and cut him 2 weeks later and take like $9 million in dead cap space. It's not going to happen. DJ Reader will play out the rest of this year, or he'll play out his final year of his contract. And then I would presume maybe, and I'm not even 100% sure, that this will be the last year he's with the Detroit Lions, just given his age, where we are as a roster, depending on what he's wanting as a salary, as a free agent after the season. I'm just kind of anticipating this is DJ's last run, but he's not going to be a cut casualty, I don't believe. I think the odds are just astronomically low, just given everything I just said, Will. So do you agree, disagree?
Steve, I got the roster handy in front of me. We're running a little bit low on time today, so I didn't have an opportunity to load it in visually, but I'm sitting here with the roster right in front of me. And as I look at it, and I look at this defensive tackle position, I'm thinking about this, Steve. Pascal can play defensive tackle, hybrid type guy. I got Levi Onwuzurike sitting here. I have obviously Aleem McNeil. When he comes back, he can play that thing. Roy Lopez, he's a stout nose type of guy who's just going to own the line of scrimmage. I'm looking at Chris Smith, who to me is underrated as a guy who could just be a tough reserve type of guy. And then we got Miles Adam. He's just a veteran depth presence. And then we got the young dog, who's very similar to a guy like DJ Reader, but to me, probably more athletic than Talik Williams. Do we really need a guy like DJ Reader anymore? Like,
get to the punchline. I know you're
setting it up.
Yeah.
Like the entertainment. This dude, when I look at the article, if we cut this dude post June 1st, we can save what, $10 million? I don't have it right in front of me. 10 mil or something like that, 8 mil, something like that. And when you're trying to sign guys like Zadarius Smith, when there's talk about other guys that maybe we'll get to today or another day, when you're trying to find extra monies to sign guys like this, when you look at a guy like DJ Reader, I think he had 3 sacks last year, a guy who historically has been injured, right? And you're going to sit here and act like this dude can't be cut? Steve, listen, I am willing to bet my mullet that DJ Reader will not be cut. Are you nuts?
Okay, there it is. There's the punchline.
Are you nuts? Are you nuts? Folks, listen, DJ Reader wants to be a Lion. He loves Detroit. He was begging He was begging Detroit. He was basically sitting on Brad Holmes's porch, like, please, please get me out of Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a dumpster fire. Please get me out of here. I will do anything, everything. I will sew my leg back together so I can get on that field. Forget this quad, half a quad. I'll get out there whatever I need and do whatever I need to do to be out there. DJ Reader is not going anywhere, folks. The dude who wrote this article, shame on you. Shame on you. I mean, they let people just write anything nowadays. DJ Reader is staying in Detroit. And like you said, and I agree with it, I wouldn't be surprised if he is willing to do a team-friendly deal. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another year or two to hang around and chase a Super Bowl defense, because we're about to go win a Super Bowl this year. So, hey, listen, I think the only thing that could potentially keep DJ Reader off the field is a guy like Broderick Martin just having a phenomenal season. Like, you know what I mean?
I feel pretty safe that that's not going to happen.
Know what I mean? No, but in all seriousness, man, DJ Reader's not going anywhere, man. I don't see him as a cut candidate. I guess in the NFL, anything can happen. And do we have depth at the position, Steve? When I look at this thing, counting Pascal, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 defensive tackles that are currently on this roster. So I guess, is there a potential that maybe I give it 5%? Maybe. But I just don't see it, man. DJ Reader, he's got the right mentality, right? He's a tough, gritty guy. He plays a position that we need. Like we need him with Aleem McNeil being out. We need a veteran guy who is an impact player in the interior. So for those reasons, man, I just cannot see DJ Reader not being with the Detroit Lions, man. I love his game. It's somebody that I was pounding the table begging for, and you were as well. I think, honestly, you mentioned DJ Reader before I did, man, and when you did, I was super excited about it. Guys, please put it in the comments. Are we crazy? But I don't think DJ Reader's going anywhere, and I'm hoping, because I see him posting on X a lot, man, about chicken wing spots. I'm hoping maybe we can break bread and eat some chicken wings together. So, DJ, hopefully you're here for this year and maybe a couple years to come, and maybe we can eat some chicken wings together. Maybe you come on Detroit Den 313 and we eat some hot wings together, because I think I can eat hotter wings than you.
Oof, he'll smoke me in that. I do not have hot wings, not my thing. For a fan base that's really not happy with our defensive line, our pass rush, you want to get rid of a guy who had a career best last year when it came to sacks, 3 sacks. That was his career best. Like, this is a guy that's been in the league for a long time. When was he drafted? 2016, and his best season sack-wise, production-wise, was 2024 with the Detroit Lions. And what was the big hype of DJ Reader coming into last season? It's how much he was going to help Aiden Hutchinson, how he was going to command double teams, and Hutch was going to go crazy. Hutch kind of did go crazy while he was playing, didn't he? Will, he had a pretty good time. You know, I think he's 7.5 sacks, something like that. Like, still leads the Detroit Lions in sacks, and that he got hurt in like week 6, something wild like that. So then after he gets hurt,
for like 100 sacks or something like that.
So then Hutch gets hurt, and I think DJ Reader played very, very well, a little bit more than maybe I even gave him credit for. But I mean, that's not what he's designed to do. He's designed to be a plug. He's designed to be a run stuffer, and anything extra you get out of him is just cherry on top of the cake. And he
only had 23 tackles. He only had 3 sacks. Oh no.
I mean, this is a guy that's 300 plus pounds. I don't expect him to be running down backside plays and making plays on running backs going away from him. I just don't expect him to do that. That's a large man moving laterally against very fast running backs in the NFL. You try to run it up the middle on him, not happening. It's absolutely just not happening. Your only way to run the ball on the Detroit Lions is to get outside. Who's chasing you down over there? Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell, maybe Aiden Hutchinson, whoever, Brian Branch. Like, you got a problem running the football against the Detroit Lions. You can't run it up the middle with Aleem McNeil and DJ Reader just plugging. And then now we throw in Aleem McNeil and possibly Tyleik Williams when they're both healthy and 100%. And it's going to be the same with more pass rush production. So I don't know why people think that DJ Reader is going to be a cut candidate. I haven't even dove into who I think could be a cut candidate. I'd have to look at some contracts, some previous production. I got a guy in mind I'm not ready to mention because I think people will lose their shit right now today. But I'll mention it later. I'm not going to hold it back. I'm just waiting on the right time. Tim Patrick.
Steve. Oh, no, that's not big news.
I think some people might not like that. But
As big as people are on Isaac Tesla?
I'm very high on Tesla. I know a lot of people are a little on the fence, don't really know, but I think that kid's going to be really good, and Tim Patrick's job's in jeopardy. But we'll talk about that later. DJ Reader is he's the anchor of this defense right now, especially with Aleem McNeil being hurt and probably not playing close to Thanksgiving, maybe a little after. Tyleek Williams is still banged up. He did something to we presume it was a hamstring injury when he was running his 40-yard dash at his pro day. Who's your starting defensive tackle? You're just going to go ahead and cut him? I like Roy Lopez. I think he's going to be a solid role player. I'm not putting him on the starting line unless I absolutely have to. So, I mean, I think that going into the season, week 1, I'm looking at a defensive tackle pairing of Levi Onwuzurike and probably DJ Reader, and I really like that pairing. If Hutch comes back and he's healthy and Davenport's on the other side, I think that could be a really strong defensive line. People want to cut DJ Reader? I think we need to look at some other options that make a little bit more sense when our defensive line was all put in a bus and driven off a cliff last year, and we were just putting scraps out there. It's just this doesn't make sense to me. And while you were talking, I don't know if you saw it, I shared the article on Twitter where all this is coming from. If you guys want to check that out, I reposted it. You can give that a read. I don't know. Listen, I get it. It's a dead time for Detroit Lions talk right now. All right, there's not a whole lot going on. Just some rookie mini camp, some workouts. There's no transactions. There's no news. There's nothing to report. I mean, it's a dead time. So I think some people are just out there trying to fill it with stuff like that. So I don't know, Will. I'd rather just not talk Detroit Lions football than try to make something up in my head. But here we are having to talk about it because someone asked us yesterday in our members live show too, if we had heard about it. And that's when we kind of decided we'd jump on here and talk about it tonight.
Yeah, for sure, man. I just, there's no legs to it to me, man. It just doesn't make sense to me. I will say there's a lot of depth in the defensive tackle room, but not enough depth to be talking about DJ Reader getting cut, in my opinion, man. I love DJ Reader, but it's not just about loving him. It's about the type of player that he is. He's still a really good football player. And I think that not only is he an asset to the Detroit Lions for his abilities to play on the football field, he's an asset to the guys like Tyleek Williams who are coming in trying to figure out what the NFL is really about when it comes to technique, when it comes to preparation, when it comes from just tricks and tools of the trade. When we talk about hand placement, alignment, assignment, man, learning how to digest this playbook, just learning how to be a pro, man. And he, when he talked about coming here, one of the guys that he mentioned was Broderick Martin, man. Having the opportunity to get his hands on Broderick Martin, talk to him, and really just help him, mature and help him learn how to play, with his frame, man, because they have similar frames. They're both big guys, big, strong guys, man. So for those reasons, man, it's a part of the reason why I haven't given up on Broderick Martin yet. He's got a guy like DJ Reader who is willing to pour into him, because you get some veteran guys that they're like, hey, listen, man, you learn the NFL on your own. It's not my job to mentor you, and I'm not a coach. I don't have to bring you along. DJ Reader is a guy who is more than willing to do those things. So I'm excited to see what DJ Reader and Casey Rogers can do with these young guys, as well as what they can do themselves on the field, at least when it comes to DJ Reader, man. So no, DJ Reader isn't going anywhere, man. He's a Detroit Lion, and hopefully not only for this season, maybe he gets a team-friendly deal. He's so happy that he got a Super Bowl ring. He's lifting a Lombardi trophy that he does a team-friendly deal, and he comes back and he runs it back, man. So DJ Reader, we're rooting for you here at Detroit Den 313, and hopefully, like I said, chicken wing challenge is on, man. So if you see this, man, and you're not scared, let's get some hot chicken wings and see. Let's see who's got the grit, who's got the grittiest tongue, I guess. Pause.
I'll bet yeah, careful there. I'll bet a paycheck on DJ Reader. I'll referee it. Hot food's just not for me. You want to talk about something I think's maybe gaining a little legs, William? Maybe some recent news, non-Detroit Lions related, but maybe we can spice up this roster. Is Trey Hendrickson. I know there's channels out there that talk Trey Hendrickson every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I know that we haven't talked about him in months, but he did come out and say the other day that he has cut off all communications essentially with the Cincinnati Bengals. Doesn't look like he's going to be playing for them. So I'm thinking, now that the draft's over, should Brad Holmes go out and make a move and get Trey Hendrickson? Will, how do you feel?
First thing that I'm going to say is this, and well, first things first, CBS did put out a thing that said, or not a thing, they put out an article that said that the Detroit Lions were probably the best fit for Trey. Trey had 17.5 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson was on pace to have 1 million sacks. Does that excite me like it does everybody else in the world? It does. Bottom line, Trey is gonna need 35 to 40 million dollars to get him in the building, right? He's gonna need a contract. He told the Cincinnati Bengals that he will not play on his current deal, and I would suspect after being burned by a team saying, "Hey, if you do your job, we're gonna take care of you," he's not gonna be cool with getting traded and a team saying, "Hey, we're gonna take care of you if you do your thing again." No, he's gonna want to get a contract even if he's traded. So I don't know how we're going to be able to pay Aiden Hutchinson, who's coming up on needing a contract, and we're going to pay him $1 trillion, and how we're going to be able to pay somebody else $1 billion. But if it was possible, I think we would have to start mortgaging this team. I think we would have to start, and not everybody, but we would have. I'm not even going to mention names because I don't want people to lose their minds. But we would have to start looking at some of these depth pieces and maybe letting some of those depth pieces go, whether it's cutting them, whether it's making them a part of a trade deal to Cincinnati. We would have to start investigating that to get a guy like that in the building. So that's what you got to think about. Are you willing to let some of these pieces go? And it's not even necessarily huge pieces, but are you willing to let any of these depth pieces go, whether it's receivers, linemen, D linemen, O linemen? Are you willing to let any of these pieces go to make salary cap space for a guy like Trey's contract? Now, if you got two guys like that, some people are putting out there that you win a Super Bowl automatically, Steve. Is that something that you believe? Trey's on this team, Aiden Hutchinson's on this team. Is it an automatic Super Bowl win in your eyes?
Nothing's automatic, but I'll tell you this. My first thought is Trey Hendrickson does move the needle, and he moves the needle quite a bit, especially post-draft, seeing what we just did a couple weeks ago with you. You know, if you get Tyleik Williams, you get Aleem McNeil healthy, you got Trey Hendrickson, you got Aiden Hutchinson, I think without a doubt you become the best defensive line in the NFL with pass rushing anyways and run stopping. I think Trey Hendrickson is one of those guys that moves the needle and puts you in a different category. And the Lions, I think, are already Super Bowl favorites, but I think we become heavy favorites. I think we would be a very, 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 very tough team to beat, offensively and defensively. Because I know offensively we're going to go out, we're going to score 28 points a game, if not more. 28 is probably being a little modest. Defensively, I know we're going to create a lot of problems with Trey Hendrickson on this team. You got Aiden Hutchinson coming from one side. You got Trey Hendrickson coming from the other. You got Aleem McNeil and Tyleik Williams putting pressure up right up the middle in the pocket and just pushing that pocket right back. Brian Branch, DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, Kirby Joseph. Maybe Rakestraw takes a big step this year. I'm probably missing some people in our secondary because of how deep it is. Jack Campbell, another year under his belt. Alex Anzalone, just a field general out there, the smartest guy on defense. Well, he moves the needle significantly for me. But you're right. It's going to take draft capital and probably an established player in this league to get this trade done. Now, could it work financially? Because, yeah, you're right again. Trey Hendrickson, the reason he's not playing in Cincinnati is he wants some money. Do we have some money? We do have a little bit of money tucked away. You know, Uncle Daddy, Daddy Brad and Dan, they got a couple bucks tucked away underneath the mattress. Could you restructure some deals? Jared Goff, get that maybe a little bit cheaper, a little bit more team friendly. Hey, man, you want to win a Super Bowl here? You take $5 million less. I mean, maybe that's something that gets it done. Maybe we give it to Trey. Hey, we're going to trade for you, sign you to a 3-year deal. I know Hutchinson's going to get a Brinks truck backed up to his house here pretty soon and dropped off with a whole lot of dollar bills in it. But can we extend that? Because we're picking up this year. We got this year a rookie contract. We got next year rookie contract. And then maybe we could start his big payday the following year. And I'm thinking maybe Trey Hendrickson's in the final year of the 3-year deal if we pull something off like that. And I know we still got to pay Brian Branch. Kirby got his money. We got to pay Laporta. We got to pay Gibbs. Got to pay JMO. I think it's possible. We would just have to be one of those teams that's very, very financially strict for the next 3 years. But I think it can be done with some of these contracts I was looking at today, just kind of overlapping them, where maybe it's 3 years from now we're paying a lot of people a lot of money. But then after that, you're going to have some money starting to drop off, like Jared Goff potentially. Hendrickson's hypothetically would be coming up. Hutch would be like the only one under a long-term deal, I would suspect. So I think it can happen, Will. Am I willing to give up a second and a 4th-round draft pick? Spitballing here. And maybe a player. I don't even want to throw out a player because I'm with you. I know how people get. You even mentioned someone's name, and it's just over for them. So Yeah, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to pay him. He moves the needle that much for me, especially after the NFL draft, seeing what we've added on offense. Our offensive line set for the next X amount of years. We got a young receiver in Isaac Tesla who's going to be around for quite a while. I think he's going to be good. We beefed up our defensive line with Hassanin, Tyleek Williams. I really love what we did in the draft. If this is the final piece, we become Super Bowl favorites, but nothing's automatic. You don't just skip all of the regular season and go right to the Super Bowl. That's not how it works, but we would be one of the most difficult teams to face in the NFL, William.
I hear you, and it excites me. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, but you're mortgaging the farm, in my opinion, just because you still got the you still got the potential, man, that these guys don't see a full season, and then what? Then what are we doing, right? I'd rather have we're spreading out the business, the work, man, against multiple players instead of it just being on the shoulders of two guys to create our pass rush. We got a rotational pieces, and then Aiden Hutchinson and Ali McNeil and Talik Williams, and then Marcus Davenport, and then the crew that is going to support. And then again, this still hasn't been the door still isn't closed on signings of Darius Smith. The door isn't closed on signing maybe Judon, man. It's those are guys that I think could help this team. Those are guys that are needle pushers. Are they the same needle pusher as Trey Hendrickson? Heck no. Is it 17 and a half sack back-to-back guy? What are we talking about? Like this dude is a problem. But what does our scheme look like too? Because I keep trying to explain to people, we're not going to have two defensive ends that go rush the quarterback and run upfield. And pass rush situations, maybe, but you're not going to have down in and down out two defensive ends running upfield. It's just not. If you know anything about our scheme or just football in general, that's not how football works. So, what can Trey offer? Being that tough, gritty, crush the pocket, stout in the run game. Can he do that? Can he be physical? Can he be gritty? Can he be a strong side end? Yeah, he can, without a doubt. But is he willing to do that? Is he willing not to be the 17 and a half sack guy and let Aiden go be that guy? Right on the opposite. Is he willing to get 10 sacks, 12 sacks, and then play a role in the scheme, outside of that, kind of like Talik Williams did at that team down south, man. He knew that he had pass rush upside, but he knew that he had a gap and a half scheme or a two gap scheme that he had to be responsible for. Hey, man, your job is to control these two gaps. Your job is to take on double teams. Even though you can go chase that quarterback down, you can't do that down in and down out, man. You can't play selfish football. Is that something that Trey would be cool with in the effort to win a Super Bowl? Those are things that I don't know, man, but people have to take those things into account, man. It's not all about the statistics, because your fit on one team may not be your fit on the next team that you're going to, and things might be a little bit different when you get into Detroit, man, and you find out that Aiden Hutchinson is the top dog here. He's the young guy ascending that's going to be chasing a quarterback. Maybe we're going to ask you to do something different if you came here. Would you be okay with that? So I don't know, man. Does it interest me? Of course it interests me, but I wouldn't be willing to lose some of the guys that I think that we would have to lose to make it make sense. And I won't name any names, but I'll say this. We got a real deep secondary with some veterans on there that's getting some monies. Do we lose one of those guys to make some space for Trey? Do I think that we could be competitive if we lose a guy out of that secondary? I do. There's some guys on some back nine of their contracts on our offensive line. Do I think maybe we should skim some fat after drafting two guys in the draft, two young, hungry dogs on that offensive line? Could we skim some fat there and maybe save a little bit of money? Maybe we could, man. Maybe we could. Is there some young receivers that we just signed, man? Could we skim some fat? And when I say skim some fat, just so we're clear and people don't freak out, I'm not talking about J-Mo or Amon-Ra St. Brown before you guys lose your mind. But with those young receivers, and I said receivers in plural, is there some there's some fat that we could skim off of that and maybe get a little bit cheaper, man, but not lose much? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. It's something that I would be willing to entertain, man. But when I look at this list, Steve, is that worth doing and signing Trey? The conversation is worth it. I'll tell you that. The possibility is there. And I'll let your imaginations run with what I'm talking about. Again, I'm not going to name names because I don't think it's probable, and I really don't feel like spending my life listening to people saying that Will said we're going to lose this player, or that player, or why would you be down to lose this player or that player? We're just talking conversation here. But there are veteran guys on this team that we have young replacements that are on the roster for right now, whether you want to believe it or not, or maybe they're on the last year of their contract or some combination of all of that, that could maybe be skimmed off this team, or they're probably not going to be on this team in two seasons anyways. We could potentially get their contracts off a little bit early, save a little bit of money, use the money that we have already, and maybe sign a guy like Trey. Is the potential there? Absolutely. Do I find it probable? I don't. Do I think that we need to do it to win a Super Bowl? I don't, man, because I'd rather just sign Zadarius Smith, look to next year's draft if we got an edge rusher that we can get in next year's draft, or get Ahmed Hassanin ready, man, to do his thing, man. So I don't know.
William, you know what I loved watching the Detroit Lions do last year? We made teams one-dimensional a lot. Like, you come to Detroit on a game day, I just knew you weren't running the football on us. All right. So I'm with you with the scheme. I understand we can't just have two ends running up the field and creating a bunch of running lanes for these mobile quarterbacks. But if you're not running the football and you have to pass, I want my two ends going after that quarterback as hard as they possibly can. I want them quarterbacks to be as uncomfortable as possible. I want them running for their lives, because you're not going to run the football on us. And now you're in known passing situations, or you're down 17-3 and you're trying to get some garbage points at the end of the quarter or the end of the half to get the ball at the second half. And you're trying to get back in this thing. I want guys like Trey Hendrickson. I want Aiden Hutchinson out there in known passing situations. Just saying that we're not going to have that. It's 17-3. It's going to stay 17-3. When you come out and you get the ball in the second half, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. You're not going to run the ball on us, and you're not going to be able to throw. I'm willing to lose a little tiny bit in the running game to be better in the pass defense. I know we bolstered our secondary. I love it, but I can't just count on just Hutch with the Lee McNeil out. I don't know what Tyreek Williams is going to be yet. I think he's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be great day one. I think it's going to take some time. He's going against grown men in the NFL. Same thing with Hassanin. He was a 6th-round pick for a reason. He's a little undersized. He's got a great motor. He says a lot of things. He's got a great work ethic. That does not guarantee success in the NFL. I want a guy that has led the NFL in sacks the last 2 seasons. Not Aiden Hutchinson, not Myles Garrett, not TJ Watt, not JJ Watt, not Nick Bosa, not Joey Bosa. Trey Hendrickson has led the NFL in sacks the last 2 seasons. He's not going back to Cincinnati. My fear is he's not playing for the Bengals. What if a team in our division makes a play for him, or a team that we're competing to win a Super Bowl against, like the Washington Commanders, the Philadelphia Eagles, who just keep prospering somehow? I do not want to see him go to one of those teams, especially in our division, like the Chicago Bears pull something off, or the Vikings or the Packers, and now we got to go against him for the next 3 years. I certainly don't want that. And I'm not making this move just to play chess against those guys. I'd be making this move to make the Detroit Lions an unstoppable force, William. I'll give up a couple draft picks. I'll give up a couple players that I don't think will be on the team in 3 years, because now I've just created an elite pass rush for 3 seasons with an elite secondary, and we don't have any needs. I mean, I'm usually not pounding the table for a trade, but now that the draft's over, Will, my excitement and my want for Trey Hendrickson is a little bit higher than it was before.
I'm going to do you a favor, and I'm not going to ask you a tough question like put together a trade for me, but just know that's bouncing around my little mind.
Oh,
just
I know. I don't want to name a player, but I'll tell you right now, if I got to give up a 1st-round draft pick and a 4th-round draft pick, fine, because I fully believe that 1st-round pick is going to be pick 32. I think that this move does make the Lions Super Bowl favorites. And again, nothing's guaranteed, but if you're telling me that next year I got to sit here in April and I got to watch the draft and we don't pick because I just won a Super Bowl and Trey Hendrickson was a big part of it, I'm fine with that. I'm more than fine with that.
Well, essentially, I'm going to tell you, anybody who brings up that, I would say we did pick in the 1st round. We drafted Trey Hendrickson. So, I mean, that's essentially
yes.
Yeah. So, but I just wanted you to know that was floating around my mind. I'm not going to press you to name some players, but
I'll give you some guys I won't give up.
No, I don't want to hear about the guys that you won't give up, because I want you in the hot seat if I'm gonna put you there. But I will say, I will ask you this though. So even though we're not going to talk about necessarily the players, you would be okay, obviously, with paying him and Aiden Hutchinson.
If the contracts can kind of where they only overlap for 1 year, yes. I mean, if we're paying both, we can't pay both of them 30, 40 million a year a piece, but we can maybe overlap that to where what year would it be? 2028 or 2029, where both of them would be on a high contract. And then after that, hey, Trey, didn't work out, or thanks for the three straight Super Bowls. We're going to cut ties with you. Yes, I would absolutely do it.
I mean, it's tough, man. It's just a tough situation because at the end of this thing too, he's still 30 years old. Like,
but I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Hutchinson, he's on a rookie contract in 2025. He'd be on that extension in 2026, and he would be due for the big payday in 2027, right? Does that sound right to you without looking at it?
Yeah, 2027, he's going to get paid. So he's got 2 more years on his contract.
Okay. So if you trade for Trey Hendrickson right now and you gave him a 3-year, $35 million a year contract, you'd only pay him and Hutch together big money 1 season.
True, but you still have guys like Brian Branch that you got to deal with. You're gonna have Jahmyr Gibbs that you got to deal with. You got Sam Laporta that you got to deal with a year earlier. Like you still got guys that you're gonna have to pay.
J-Mo.
And that's J-Mo. Like it's guys out there that you're still gonna have to pay. Jack Campbell. I mean, there's Alex Anzalone's contract will be up. Are we keeping him? What are we doing? Like it's not just Hutch. It's everybody's contract accumulatively, and what will this team look like from a depth standpoint?
But
DJ Reed is another one.
But there's going to be contracts falling off as well, like Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow potentially within the next 3 years, Jared Goff potentially, and maybe he could restructure David Montgomery. Like there's money to be skimmed and saved. I mean, we really have to sit down and put 2 genius minds like you and me together. We could figure this out well. And I'm sure Brad Holmes has way smarter people than Stephen will sitting at a desk, crunching numbers, doing financial stuff 24/7. So I personally think there's a way to make it happen. It might just require the team to be very responsible with their money for the next 3 seasons. But I do think that there's a way where you can overlap some contracts and lose some contracts and shuffle some cards around. And I think you can make this happen. So I don't know, 3 years of Trey Hendrickson and Aiden Hutchinson just wrecking quarterbacks with a young Tyreek Williams and an Ali McNeil under contract. Well, he got his deal last season. That's just, it's going to feed families, Will. It's going to feed the mouths of Detroit Lions fans for the next 3 years when we're partying on Woodward for Super Bowl parties.
Steve, I just, listen, you're right. I will say that there's a way. There's going to have to be some sacrifices made. And listen, there's some sacrifices that I would be down to make that people probably would not be comfortable with to do it. That's why I'm just gonna hold on to those. I'm not gonna get wild or whatever. And it's nothing crazy. But there's some older guys on this roster that I would be willing to, in a deep where we're deep. I'd be willing to get Trey in the building, skim some of those contracts off, depend on Brad to draft well, because I don't think that it has to be with Trey being so disgruntled and them paying receivers an astronomical like $300 million in receivers
and 300.
I was just about to say, and Joe Burrow. Like it's I don't know, man. I don't know how they deal with this issue, man. But that said, maybe it's not a first rounder. Maybe it's a second rounder. And if you were talking a second rounder, and then maybe get them in the building and we toss a couple players out of here. And I don't know. I'm not going to say Super Bowl favorites and all of that other stuff, but it does make us a real problem. You know, it does make us a real problem. But Steve, you may mention, and this is kind of the last thing that I'll talk about, you may mention to maybe somebody in the division going to get him. Listen, if somebody in the division goes and get him with an athlete just as pure as Jared Goff, I wouldn't be worried. He ain't running down Jared Goff. Jared Vick. He ain't running down Jared Vick.
There's a little truth to what Ben Johnson said, William. That's all I'm going to say.
Listen, man.
I'm in a good mood today. Don't bring me down.
You know what they call Jared in the streets? White lightning.
All right. Stick around. Hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show, guys.